Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this Warcraft Rumble video, I'm going to take a look at the top 12 minis that benefit from talents the most. These are all going to be troop minis. I'm not going to talk that much about leaders, although some leaders do benefit from talents a lot, like Tyrion with Divine Shield or Sylvanas with Black Arrow, Hogger with the additional health. Those are excellent additions, but for leaders you probably want to upgrade your leaders anyway and get a talent for them, leaders that you really like to play with. So talking about talent priorities for leaders just isn't that interesting. But for troops, which troops benefit the most from having talents, and which talents would those be? Let's start with a couple of troops that you probably are using a lot anyway, and with talents they are going to get even better. And then look at a couple of troops that really changed their whole way they are played with talents. So coming in at number 12 we have the S.A.F.E pilot. S.A.F.E pilot is a starter mini, everyone has this already at the start. First it's a damage spell basically, and then it becomes a ranged damage dealer, so what is there not to like? But S.A.F.E pilot is even better with talents. I have played around with both Gnomish cloaking device and with coming in hot, and I have to say I like them both. Coming in hot allows you to be so much more responsive, you can deploy so quickly, and it deals some more damage than the usual. But on the other hand, the Gnomish cloaking device is just unparalleled damage, just coming a little slower, because then the first shot from the S.A.F.E pilot after landing is part of that damage package. But both of them just make S.A.F.E pilot a lot better than S.A.F.E pilot is without either of them, and they're just excellent choices, and it's an excellent mini to upgrade early. Pyromancer is another mini that I use a lot. I use this on my free-to-play account where I don't even have a talent on it, and I use it on my main account with Pyroblast. And I have to say, Pyromancer is great even without a talent. But with a talent, Pyromancer just deals so much damage that Pyroblast just burns through everything. When you deploy Pyromancer to respond to a threat, that Pyroblast is going to eliminate that threat in an instant. However, some people do prefer to use Conflagrate, which makes the splash area larger, but for me it's Pyroblast all the way. Then there is Huntress, and Huntress is very, very popular mini, and she is strong, of course, but she gets so much better with talents. Elven Might for that incredible sustained DPS, or Shadow Meld for opening burst and survivability. Typically Elven Might is more PvE oriented, Shadow Meld more PvP oriented. You can use either one on both forms of course, but yeah, Huntress does get even better with talents. And at number 9, another mini that sees a lot of play, Stonehoof Tauren. Stonehoof Tauren perfectly playable without talents, but oh boy with the talents. Pummel, some people like Pummel. After connecting a charge, stuns the target for 3 seconds. That makes Stonehoof Tauren so good at intercepting specific individual targets. But then there's also Momentum, because Momentum allows it to double charge. And that means that especially in PvP, people are not going to just feed you their best units, they are protected, but then Tauren just charges into the tank and then charges to the back line. Just does things that it cannot do otherwise, that no mini can do otherwise. It's wonderful talents. At number 8 we have Prowler. Prowler is much like Stonehoof Tauren, except that it only has half the health, it costs 1 gold less, so people generally want to go with the Tauren and not with the Prowler. However, Prowler is one of my favorite units. Fast tank, and when it has on the Prowl talent, gain stealth and stun the target when attacking from stealth. That's a life changer. Prowler becomes so much better. You haven't really seen Prowler unless you have seen a stealth Prowler that stuns the target, just eats ogre mages for breakfast, for example. And I hate ogre mages, so that's awesome. Go Prowler. Just love what the talent does to this. People would probably prefer the Stonehoof Tauren still as their main option and Prowler as a secondary option, but this talent does make it so much better. And at number 7 we have Blizzard. Blizzard with Cold Snap. Freeze enemy troops in place. Yeah, 4 gold, you burst that Blizzard down at okay. They are taking some damage, they are slowed down, but some of them might be able to escape. None of them will escape after Cold Snap. Also, it delays the enemy push for the entire duration of the Blizzard, just making this already good spell just so much better. Number 6 is a unit that you might not see that often. It's Skeletons. And, well, are skeletons even that good? Well, yeah, they're unbound, they deal some damage, but they're really squishy, and do they even deal that much damage? But with Exhume, if deployed near a tower or meeting stone, deploy +2 additional skeletons, and that includes meeting stones and towers that you do not own. So suddenly skeletons become a raiding party. Provide them with a decent distraction, and just watch those skeletons hit that tower. Number 5 we have Frostwolf Shaman. Frostwolf Shaman is a support unit, costs 4 gold, kind of awkward to use often. Shaman is one of the only units that can heal though, so healing some big unit that can be really useful. But when Shaman really starts to shine is when you have Earth Shield. Grant armored to a nearby ally. I believe that's 1 charge. So you can only grant armored to 1 ally, and it's going to be the closest one, so don't go granting it to something like your Kobold Miner. Try to position the Shaman so that it grants it to the right target. And when you grant it to Drakizat or Fire Elemental, for example, who are already resistant, and then they're also armored, and then the Shaman is going to support them in their push. That's when magic is going to happen. Shaman, together with those with this talent, is completely different than without this talent. I actually did some heroics where I tried to do Drakizat Shaman without the Earth Shield, and I was like, man, this isn't nearly as good as I remembered. And yeah, it was because I was missing that armored. But Frostwolf Shaman with Earth Shield can just make for so much fun. At number 4 we have Harpies. You might wonder, hey, aren't Harpies already like a really high damage dealing unit and used all over the place? Well, yeah, kind of. But actually, now that I have played a lot with talentless Harpies, compared to my main account where I play with infectious swipes, poisonous Harpies, I have to say that poisonous Harpies just eat through everything at an incredibly rapid pace. Whereas non-poisonous Harpies, yeah, they're still good DPS, but just comparing the two, and they're not in the same universe. The poison harpies are the premium damage dealer in the game, and getting that talent for your harpies is going to be a life-changing experience. At number 3 we have Harvest Golem. I'm not actually a huge fan of Harvest Golem. Harvest Golem is kind of like an okay or mediocre tank maybe, but when you add Unstable Core to Harvest Golem, and when it dies then it stuns nearby enemies for 3 seconds, then suddenly you're like okay-ish tank turns into a stunning powerhouse. The enemies are getting stunned, you can kill them, for example with Harpies, who are rather squishy, and then Harvest Golem revives, you can stun them again. Boy, it just becomes a completely different unit. At number 2 we have Meat Wagon. Meat Wagon already has a long range and can hit towers without towers hitting back, but the more range, the merrier. With Filet Trebuchet, increased bombard range by +2, Meat Wagon can kill even more stuff without aggroing that stuff. And for example, Meat Wagons with range is the main current strategy for Onyxia kills. So if you want to get ready for those Onyxia kills, okay, it's going to require something like a level 26, 27 army, so that might be some ways off, but still, if you want to get ready, get your Filet Trebuchets going and just Meat Wagon everything. Great in dungeons where you need to take towers, great everywhere. It's just a wonderful talent and really makes this unit the siege engine that it is. But the number 1 mini that is most transformed by getting a talent is Whelp Eggs. And Flame Burst is the talent. Damage nearby enemies when hatching. So you place your Whelp Eggs on top of some weak range units like Murlocs or something, and then usually they would just start throwing their spears at the whelps and the eggs and everything would die. But now, because of Flame Burst, the Murlocs will die and the whelps will live, and it just completely changes the way this unit functions. It makes it such an incredible trap. It's a bomb that's going to go off when your opponents proc it, and this turns Whelp Eggs from a thoroughly mediocre unit. I have to admit it, it's thoroughly mediocre without the talent. I'm not even using it most of the time if I don't have talents. But when it has Flame Burst, suddenly it's one of the best units in the game. So that is an absolutely game-changing talent, and that's why Flame Burst is the top talent. It's the talent that changes the mini that is used on the most, and Whelp Eggs is the mini that benefits the most from having a talent. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.